Hello everyone, this is Evan from BlazikenTCG, and today guys, welcome back to my Road to World series. Today I'm going to be going over my first place cup and challenge report from this past weekend. I went to a league challenge Friday and a league cup Saturday, and I managed to get first at both of those, so I'll be going over my matchups and how I did. So yeah, for the league challenge on Friday night, I decided to play Turbo Lawson Box. This is just a deck that I've been playing quite a bit recently, and yeah, I just decided to bring it to the League Challenge. I'm not sure if I like it more than Gardevoir. Those are the two decks that I've been playing quite a bit recently, but I decided to just play the Turbo Lawson box at the League Challenge. And at this League Challenge, I was the only senior, so I was guaranteed to win, and there were no juniors and only 3 masters, so only 4 people in this tournament overall. So it was just going to be pretty much a round robin. So I would just play each of them one time. So starting off with round 1, I played against Rapid Strike, which is easily my worst matchup. But I did end up actually winning against Rapid Strike. So what happened was I won the coin flip, so I was able to go first, which is a pretty big advantage in this matchup. So I had a pretty solid turn 1. I opened Comfy and also had like Chorus and VIP in hand. So I was already set for the next turn, and then I had the VIP pass, so I was able to get about I think 4 or 5 cards in the lost zone turn 1. Then on my opponent's first turn, he managed to get 2 Inteleon Vs, a Remoraid, an Urshifu, and a Medicham V. So a pretty solid setup for my opponent as well. But when it was on my second turn, I managed to get 9 cards in the lost zone, which was pretty good. But I was going to knock out the Inteleon V that was active with my Raikou V, but I had to play an Escape Rope. I didn't have a switch card or anything, and my only choice was to play an Escape Rope. So he sent up the Medicham V, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to knock out anything with Raikou V, so I knew if I wanted to get ahead right off the bat, I would have to attack with Dragonite V. I could also attack with Drapion as well, but I wasn't playing Choice Bell or anything, so it would be at best a 2-hit knockout. So I attacked with Dragonite V. I know it puts a lot of damage on the board for him to work with, but I decided that it was worth it because it would put me in such a winning position by attacking with Dragonite V. And then after this, my opponent played a research and pretty much drew into 7 dead cards and was not able to attack, so he just conceded right there. So, yeah, I ended up getting the win against Rapid Strike during round 1. Round 2, I played against Gardevoir EX, and my opponent prized his Manaphy, so I was just able to kind of just run them over with Radiant Greninja, and then Sableye in the late game. And then, yeah, so I also won the coin flip for this one, so I was able to go first, which is another pretty big advantage in this matchup. So yeah, my opponent prized the Manaphy, so I was just able to win the game with Greninja and Sableye. And then round 3, I went up against Miraidon, and for the 3rd time today, I actually won the coin flip. But this time I opted to go second, because in this matchup, it's actually better to go second, because whoever gets the first knockout pretty much has a pretty good chance of winning. Even if I just have to spit, that's still pretty good because I can clean that up with a Sableye later on down the line. But my opponent had a pretty bad hand. They went they started flying Pikachu and placed down Mareep and passed. So didn't even find a Miraidon turn 1. However, my hand was not great either. I was going to try and knock out the Pikachu with Raikou V because they were playing the Flying Pikachu VMAX as well, so I was just going to try and deal with that early on. But my hand wasn't great either. I wasn't able to get 7 cards in the lost zone. I think I was 1 card off. I think I just didn't have the Mirage Gate, I'm pretty sure. So the next best thing I could do was Rope into Mareep and knock that out with Cramorant. And then my opponent just didn't really get set up after that. So kind of unfortunate draws. I feel like at this challenge, I really just got lucky in a lot of my games. I feel like most of the time it was just not necessarily because like my hands were good, just because my opponents weren't drawing as good as they probably wanted. But yeah, I went 3-0 at the league challenge. Then for the League Cup, I just decided to run it back with Turbo Lost Zone Box. There were 7 seniors. So yeah, 7 seniors, and there were going to be 3 rounds. So round 1, I faced Palkia V-Star. This was a pretty interesting build. There was no like Xian Pao in there. It was just like straight Palkia Bibarel. I'm pretty sure they were playing like a 4-3 Palkia and like 2-2 Bibarel, and I'm pretty sure those were like the only attackers they had. I don't think they had any other attackers. I think it was just like straight Palkia. So very interesting build, but the matchup was definitely favored for me. I was kind of just able to win by attacking with Raikou V and Sableye, because as long as I kept Manphy on the board so they couldn't attack with Ninja, they pretty much had like no single prize attackers. So pretty favored matchup for me, so I was able to get the win against Palkia V-Star round 1. Round 2, I played against Arceus Giratina, and this is probably one of my worser matchups, just because they have the big tanky V-Star Pokemon that I could not knock out in one hit. And yeah, they just have the big tanky V-Star Pokemon, and they also have like Path, Judge, Iono, a bunch of disruptive cards. And this was a very close game. My opponent went first, and they only got 1 Arceus V and attached to it, and it was in the active. And I was going to try to knock it out with Dragonite V, because that would essentially win me the game right there. However, I only had an escape rope once again. I didn't have a switch card, so I had to send the Arceus V to the bench. But I was able to knock out their Giratina V, because their first turn was like Arceus V Star in the active, Bidoof, and Giratina on the bench, and then just passed. So I was able to knock out the Giratina V. And then this one actually ended up being very close, because there were like 2 turns where I just had to pass like in the middle of the game, just because I didn't have anything. I had a few like kind of rough flower selects at the beginning of the game, so since I had less Mirage Gates, I think I lost on like 2 Mirage Gates or something, just because my flower selects were like really bad this game. So I was struggling to set up more attackers before Iono and Judge hit. So there were like 2 turns in the mid game where I just had to pass because I had nothing that I could do. But then I actually ended up winning because of Bravery Charm. I added Bravery Charm to my list, which was actually a very good card to have. So yeah, I ended up adding the Bravery Charm, and I definitely do not regret it. It helped me a lot in both of these tournaments. And Bravery Charm was actually what won me the game, because I was able to put it on my Dragonite V, and they were not able to knock out my Dragonite V. They needed to take 2 prizes that turn to win, so I was able to just put it on the Dragonite and attack with it, do 250 to an Arceus V-Star, and then there was also another Arceus with 250, and then the next turn I was able to retreat into Sableye and put 6 damage counters on both of those. So I got the win against Arceus Giratina in round 2. Round 3, I went up against Lost Tina, and I played very poorly in this matchup. This was the finals. I played very, very poorly. Yeah, I probably didn't deserve to win that one, but my opponent, so I won the coin flip and opted to go second, because usually it's better to go second in the Lost Zone Mirror. My opponent didn't have a very great start. They had like a Comfey, a Giratina, and a Cramorant. I was able to knock out the Cramorant, I believe, with a Cramorant of my own. And then my opponent so I whiffed Cramorant turn 1. I didn't cram until turn 2. And my opponent also whiffed Cramorant. Wait, no, it wasn't a Cramorant. It was a Manaphy. I'm sorry. My opponent also whiffed Cramorant, and they weren't attacking until like turn 3 or 4. So I was having trouble just seeing cards that game. I just couldn't actually see any cards. So I was just sitting there with Cramorant, just spreading damage. I took like 2 prizes with Cramorant, and then also spit at a Ninja as well. And then when my opponent finally started attacking, I believe they played like an Iono, and I had a pretty bad hand off the Iono, so I just had to pass for like 1 or 2 turns. And then there was also this one point, so There was this one point in the game where I misplayed because since both of these decks can take a while to play, I really just didn't want this game to end in a tie. So I was a bit hasty in checking my prize cards, and I didn't realize I had 2 energies prized, so I was going to Mirage Gate onto a Dragonite so I could knock out their Giratina V, and instead of a checkmate by being able to Sableye the next turn for game. But I didn't realize that I had no energies left in deck, so I just basically wasted a Mirage Gate. So the thing that actually ended up making me win this game was I played a Roxanne and they whiffed the energy off Roxanne. So I was not punished for my very sloppy play here. I played very poorly in the finals, but in the end I did end up getting the win against Lost Tina. So there you have it, guys. That was my League Cup and Challenge report. So far I have 175 out of I think 450. Yeah, I have 175, so we're over a third of the way there. But yeah, let me know if you like this video in the comments. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.